Braum that will be locked in alongside this Yunara this time around. Duro not going to be going the full engage route. You know, engage Braum is something we've laughed about a fair bit, but the Poppy left up and available. This is something that's been banned quite a bit during these playoffs. Will get through here, will be the final lock-in for Carrier. Not exactly the most lane power that you can get, but still going to be very, very powerful in breaking up these team fights and denying the sort of we're just going to collapse on top of you and hope that you all die style of composition that Gen G does have.
T1 kind of misread what Gen G were looking for here. They banned the Aurora, don't want to lose the top lane, don't want to take away Doran's ability to get prio there, but instead Gen G are like, we're playing for composition here. We're going to get this Camille. We have Camille, Galio, Vi, and Yunara. Team fights are so free for us. And now T1
and value. Let's get onto the rift here for game number 1 of this do or die best of 5. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 1. Gen G versus T1, the El Clasico here for our final day in LoL Park. And it's kind of
barrier of Guma and some potential plate gold here. He's going to lose some farm as well. He's already a little bit behind in that regard. So this is a pretty big win here for Gen G, but at least T1 is able to stack that first dragon on the other side of the map. Grubs are not spawning for 2 minutes here, so they'll have time to reset and look for that as well. As Doran is continuing to put pressure on in this lane, but won't really find himself with a CS advantage. Plate here, but it was a dangerous moment there for Ruler topside. Hits level 6.
Yeah, that is going to be the stun onto Carrier. Ruler's still there though and does have a lot of damage. As the flash forward and Ruler will find it, dashes after the Corki, and
Guma down barrier from the previous exchange, has to flash, but Ruler has the follow flash and takes him out. Canyon gonna take this prio opportunity to start up Grubs, grabs the first one. Any Grub you can get for this Camille side lane is gonna feel fantastic, and it looks like they might just get all 3.
Yep, Canyon will be able to at least grab 2 of them with the help of Ruler, who does pick up a bit of extra money for that one. So far here, yeah, well, Braum is just, okay, we've got a little bit more of an engage here towards the bottom side. As now Ruler may immediately get punished, does have the barrier, some sidesteps come through, public execution! Yeah, looking like second dragon gonna get picked up here by Gen G, unless there's something that T1 can do about it. Chovy looking a little worse for wear, which might make this a little bit more dangerous, but with Owner not in the area, just finishes the Sundered Sky, but Canyon already had that one in his back pocket, so feeling pretty good, and utilizing that Sundered Sky window to grab the Drake. So that is going to be 2
wanted to back, I think, but there's just no time. He's down items here on components here to Ruler. And remember, for T1, you want to win the fight instantly here. Blow up a single member, then you can clean up. But if Ruler's the last man standing, you've completely lost it.
Ooh, bit of Slurkle value here as Keen finding a good trade against Doran. The health bars of these top laners actually does play a factor as they both have teleport. We're going to try and make their way up. And Chovy and Faker will be still ping-ponging some waves here. The Rift Herald now down to about 4,000 as Gumayushi Carrier in the area. A bit of a rotation down. The Keeper's Verdict comes through, but it's immediately buffered by the ulti from Canyon. And the heroic entrance comes down there as well. Justice Punch, fantastic. But the Yunara is dead. They've taken down the Poppy, but that is not enough value. And Keen will be wiped out as well. Doran continues the fight. This guy's Ambessa is absolutely absurd as he picks up the triple. Can it be the Quadra? He's tanking up the turret, and he will allow Owner to pick up the kill, although Chovy may not. So he's just going to get himself out of there, but he is the... For Gen G, 4-0-1, 1.7k gold lead just for himself. And the first Cloud Drake will go over to T1 here. That'll be their prize.
Cloud Drake, arguably, I mean, if there's an Ambessa in this game, but Doran just picked up. So they're going to actually look to gank Doran himself.
Yeah, looking for a bit of an angle here. Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Public Execution comes in as Carrier is going to evict the Camille. And now it's only Canyon and Duro.
Now Owner's here and Duro's left alone.
Yep, he's going to put down the door. Tries to flash his way out, but there's a teleport coming in. Ulti from Duro coming on through here, and I think they know that this Braum is dead. Keen still going to go in, but Faker's teleport. Now Keen is in so much trouble. Ruler comes down, protects with a Slurkle. And that is going to be it. Oh, never mind the edge of the Shockwave, and it's a double kill for Faker on this Orianna.
saves the ultimate for Soul, poised to take this mid turret, are running away with game 1 of the series.
Yeah, you've got CHOVY now rotating down, but that will be feats of oh, never mind. GENG did lock down Soul point for T1 if they're able to lock this one down, and it has been started already. Full information over to GENG, but what can they do about it is going to be the question.
They just have to give it up. They have that control vision in the pit, and they're just very aware that this is not going to be a possibility for them, and they're just going to instead try to look for a collapse on the Doran. But look at how much is a risky endeavor, but they're going to try it. They're going to try to pull T1 in. They are going to get Faker's teleport for this.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for here, I guess, is the teleport is going to come on through. Keen finds the hookshot angle. There's a Hextech ultimatum. He delivers the gargoyle on top. Gumayushi taken down immediately. Now Kerry is going to turn up as owner with that Crescent Guard, is looking for Keen and will be able to find him. It's a 1-for-1 80 carry for top lane, but T1 still looking for more in the 4v4. Carrier dives forward. The bottom lane. So this Artican is it just belongs to T1, and GENG are not going to contest. So dropping the ball a little bit when it comes to being able to hold on to these objectives here. And T1 can also then augment that with this outer turret. As Keen, he's just going to walk over here and look to start this one up as T1 just searching for where GENG went. This little runaround, this do-si-do that GENG did, will be able to deny the soul.
That was
very
a really
cute.
High-value blue trinket here that actually identified that Doran got off the dragon. They then scried where he was and came over here while pulling T1 to the kind of awkward for T1. It's going to be so reliant. Oh,
yeah. Public execution comes down. The flash forward from Keen, and Doran gets over the wall, but Keen follows him with the ulti. Canyon comes down, but I think this would have been a solo kill for the Camille, and I'm pretty sure she's online, but the jungler was in the bottom lane!
And that means they just have to hard send it in the bottom lane and try to get as many turrets as they can. They're going for mid first, and they're going to try to get that bottom outer as well.
Yeah, the Baron comes up. The catch from the ulti out of Duro is fantastic, but the rest of the cavalry are turning up, and the outer turret is still getting worked on. Faker's still alive. Down goes Canyon as CHOVY's heroic entrance doesn't look exactly like that, but Keen is still a monster. The Crescent Guard comes in from owner, but he still goes down. Double taunt from CHOVY, and the Winds of War will be able to take another one down from the grave. Faker is going to be able to shut him out. Wave in towards the inner and mid lane. But it looks like T1 want to find themselves a fight as Keen is off on the side, that GA in hand. The double siege minions are looking difficult for GENG to do anything about, as Canyon charging that Vault Breaker. The engaged Braum comes in from Duro as they're looking to split these fights, but Canyon is so difficult to deal with. Doran getting into that backline though, as now Ruler's doing his best to kite him out, and the public execution is ignorable, and now CHOVY finds 3. Justice for owner as it's a double for Canyon, and the GENG freight train is burning down the bottom lane as Ruler picks up his 3,000th assist, and I have a feeling the Camille scaled in this game.
I think so. Down goes Guma. It's the full clean ace of T1. And when we go back and look at how that play started, I think a lot of it is Doran late on the TP. He thinks that T1 is still safe without him, and they're surely the engaged Braum won't do T1. We're safe. They're safe to continue to see. Constantly trying to put control words in it, but just feeding them to GENG as they're cleared out repeatedly. This means Faker just doesn't have any agency. And I think that T1 are just going to have to give this up.
What is the Galio poke? What the heck was that about?
That's big damage.
It's actually doing a fair bit of work. Here's Keen, finds the angle. He gets on top of owner, but it's Ruler's damage that we need to be wary of. And he takes down Doran. The Crescent Guard comes in, but CHOVY just says, no, you're not allowed to engage. Duro and Canyon dealing with owner off to the side, and the rest of the fight is going to be there as Keen gets out of the way of Faker, and Faker will overextend, unfortunately. CHOVY able to take that one down. So you just think, no, it's not really about the Dragon when we can kill a Nexus and take game 1.
Yeah, I think the eyes were for Dragon. T1 get caught by the Keen flank, and their eyes are now for Nexus. Is Keen so far behind this game? How many games is this guy going to be? Like, remember, his game was 1-4 on Gwen, and just pops off later. This guy is taken over.
Well, Carrier now trying to be a hero, but that charge ain't going to work. Guma just dies in the blink of an eye, and the Nexus will explode. GENG looked, they gave up so much in this game. They looked down and out.
To Dragon while T1 drops Dragon, then comes to Baron. These moments just bought GENG enough time for Ruler to become the Fountain Laser, the god tier damage. Zunara can't go wrong on this pick on flanks. So difficult to kill the flanking Aatrox in a draft like this. Plus you have Realm Warp to play around. this draft is really multifaceted here for T1. And I think it's going to be hard to sell me on this draft for GENG with any support pick they go with here in that final spot in bottom lane.
I'm expecting Leona.
Yeah.
Because there's an MF. So they are just going to lock that one in. It is going to be, like, if this GENG composition gets rolling, it is very scary. Especially with the fact that you tag anyone, then Jin locks them down, and then you can find these picks one after the other. The follow-up that they have with this Qiyana is high. The problem is, Qiyana doesn't win. Ever.
I'm probably going to get a little bit deeper into that when we get into the game itself, because this is just draft versus draft here. But at this point for GENG, I think you really need to snowball this game early, and the Qiyana needs to be a massive threat for the entirety of the game, with the cost of her 2 items reduced.
One yet here in the LCK. Let's get onto the Rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. And all we want is for every single game to be like game 1. That would be great. I'd like alternating winners each time until game 5, in which case anyone can win. It's fine. We just need 5.
Well, Atlas,
that would be the best.
I think Jarvan.
That's a bit scary. Hebapolv does bring Carrier in there as we started off the fight. GENG get the information, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough as the flash out from Duro. The flash forward. The sidestep is not good enough, and that is first blood. The Jarvan just gets it done every game.
Play the Qiyana is just hard farm. Don't interact with lanes.
Oh, God.
Not again.
Bottom lane getting absolutely punished. The teleport in from FAKER towards his bottom side as Gumayusi does have to flash, as Deadly Flourish will be avoided. The force shot not going to be enough, and he just reloads at him.
It still will lead, though, to Canyon being able to pick up this first dragon here on the bottom side of the map. See, Owner is rotating around here. Grabbed first grub and is now actually looking to try to take Ruler out of the picture here. Has Cataclysm.
Yep, Carrier is going to ult early, picks up the aggro, and the barrier not quite going to be enough there, as there are feats of warfare picked up, as FAKER in a little bit of trouble here trying to rotate up to help out, as Molten Shield from CHOVY comes in. Oh, the final auto is not enough to lock down the kill. He was almost a cool guy, not looking at it. Yep. And Ruler tried to go for the invisible Deadly Flourish. Doesn't quite work out there. As Doran, this time with no flash, and he is just dead. That was a supreme display
in this game.
As there's the Cataclysm onto CHOVY. Remember, he used that flash earlier on. He's trying to get Tibbers to get some value here, but it's just not going to work on you.
Again.
As, yeah, another bear comes down, and another knock-up comes on through here from Owner as CHOVY. Just free food for FAKER. That's 5 and 1.
Prio, but bit of a whiff.
Another bear comes down here as the Rune Prison comes on in. Owner moving back though, so Canyon is going to back away. Some Spell Flux connects, but otherwise not too much more. The Flash 4! And it's going to be the bear coming down. FAKER will be punished as Carrier comes on through. Owner just gets out of there though, protecting that shutdown gold. And Carrier is going to have to flash, but I just don't know whether that's going to be enough as he's running.
Starts this dragon up. Owner does have flash and could look for a steal potential here. Duro's holding the gate though, not allowing him to get in. Guma comes over, really greedy here.
Yeah, that is going to be the dragon coming on through. No Zenith Blade to land here from Duro, who is... And this is going to be a difficult one for GENG to contest. Deadly Flourish onto Carrier, but he's not too worried about that. Has the Unbreakable Will, is now Canyon looking for an angle. He's getting in amongst it. The curtains have been called as he flashes out of the way of the Cataclysm. Duro going down very low. Gumayusi doing so much work. T1's health bars are getting lower. Keen right in amongst it, but CHOVY not quite doing enough. Ruler just getting soloed out by Doran, and he will be able to finish that one off. CHOVY in the back of the pit is just dead to the bullets of Guma, and T1 are just running the Rift. Outside of Keen being quite frustrating, but he'll be zombified and taken out himself. A monstrous win here for T1.
Yeah, very haphazard setup from GENG as well. When we watch the replay, the Jarvan setup, he's got tons of mobility, great CC. Now as Sundered's guys had it for a long time, and Owner is super fed in this game, and they're going to get this mid turret. T1's third turret
provided by T1. 5,000 gold is the lead as Carrier is going to interrupt a Q. That was pretty cute. Gets a headbutt onto Keen here at the same time, who does ult to get himself out of the way. Carrier taking a fair bit of damage, but it's another charge from Shell and Zero. He's got a little bit of a gold advantage against the Scion now as well, as Duro is dead. Faker Realm warps in, but it is just going to be the kill going over to Ona. Invested as Ona is going to find Canyon here. There's the headbutt over the wall. Ruler in so much trouble. Deadly Flourish goes wide, and he is just dead, ladies and gentlemen. It looked like it was
just completely does nothing in the attempt to try to peel for his teammates there, but carry his flank. Chef's Kiss on this Alistair, 8 out of 11 KP this game. He has run it from start to finish. The rift belongs to him, and all of these Fane, as they give Otacon up, they're going to get the consolation turret here. They're scaling.
Yeah.
Just don't know if they should be. They're so far behind.
Oh, Deadly Flourish comes on in. It is going to be Otacon picked up by T1 very, very soon, but Gen.G are at least getting something for it.
Yeah, I mean, if they get double turret, that's a lot of gold, actually, over to Gen.G.
They will be losing this inner turret towards the top side of the map, so I don't see it necessarily being a phenomenal outcome. Gumayusi does take this.
It's not losing the game outright by trying to fight on Otacon, so
that's what I'm learning here today.
Duro.
As Duro's going to face check, he has to be the one to do so, and unfortunately he's dead. Very dead.
Okay, this is...
Oh dear, never mind, maybe they will go in. There's the Zenith Blade from Duro. He didn't really want to be there, and Owner is going to be able to take him down. The Supreme Display of Talent is decent, but not quite good enough, as down goes Tibbers as well. Chovy doing battle against Faker here, who flashes to pick up the kill on his opponent mid laner. And now Keen finds his way into the fight, and he's going to take the death exit this time around after being a zombie for just a little while, and the curtains are not being called for Ruler. I think they will actually be called for Ruler, as now Owner is going to be making his way over and looking to try and take him down. The Realm Warp comes in. The Flag and Drag doesn't do too much of anything as the Aatrox delivery comes on through. And Gumayushi's like, guys, why don't we just win the game?
They're helping and keeping the players from going back so they can win the game. That's what's happening. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a little bit of something like that. As they're doing their very best to kite Doran around here, who doesn't actually get the heal from the redemption, as Canyon looking to block off the next two that are making their way over. Deadly Flourish is decent here, as this is some yakety sacks coming on through here, as Canyon trying to get himself out. They have regrouped though, and in comes the cow! Carrier gonna be able to deliver a double kill over to Gumayusi, and that was a weird little passage of play, but ultimately it's going to be even more winning for T1, as it's given players like Duro the opportunity to respawn before they win this game.
It almost feels like a psychological warfare move here from T1, as they just smash them over and over again before the Nexus falls.
Yeah.
And Atlas, we knew we would, but we have a series on our hands now.
It was already all over our hands after game number 1, and it is now being confirmed as T1 will make this one a best of 3. Game 2, Owner on Jarvan. We saw it last time out. Gen.G, I reckon, will be sweating after
until T1 either cooked the Baron to win the game, or Gen.G had to go check. And Duro kept checking, kept dying, and Doran does a ton of damage in this game. It felt like Doran in teamfights could just pick a target and chase them away.
It could just be the Ahri. And that actually makes me feel a whole lot worse. Sonar is going to be hovered by Carrier. We'll see what he does actually decide to lock away.
I mean, it's not that bad here, actually. When you consider this movement speed plus Sivir's ultimate, kind of crazy. Karma, a little bit more reliable, a little bit more common. And hard push.
Yep, we've seen the Siva Karma so many times.
Yeah, it's kind of a barrel special with aiming. They're really the team that played it the most. For the Xayah, you're playing into Chov's Wukong Ultimate Counter-Strike, so you don't need an engaged support here as T1. You already have all of that front line. This gives you kind of a guaranteed answer to the Nico in the bottom lane. And Gen.G's draft has a lot of pick potential and a lot of front line with this Gwen, so the Xayah can come online. But I think you, once again, kind of have to control the game from start to finish. Otherwise, the Sivir scaling kind of gets out of control.
Certainly is. Jumping to the Rift here for game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Faker with the opportunity to lane up against his skin on the Ahri, which is pretty cool. Nice of Chovy to show him that one, as of course, Faker does not use skins in the mid lane. Also hasn't played Ahri in a while, although it is pretty iconic.
So now having this wave pushing over, Faker does have his ult, and they could look for a play. Keen potentially caught.
Yep, there's the counter-strike. It's actually going to get the value here as the seismic shove pushes him back. No flash available, and there's first. Man. got pretty close to having the dash back off cooldown again, but just unable to make that one work. And so the Gwen was not immune, and that means that Doran is just going to be so scary. Canyon started off these grubs. As Ona comes on in to try and grab this control ward, will be able to do so. The grubs are going to lose interest relatively soon, and there they go. As Keen does pick up this wave here in this mid lane, avoids the boomerang blade here from Gumayushi as Duro.
No level
only
6.
level 5, yeah.
If he has 6, this is a very different situation. Still, Keen is already hitting a little bit.
Yeah, this the snips, when they get charged up, a little bit frightening.
Faker doesn't have his ult to cut anybody off since he used it for that play on the top side, but I still think T1 have a really strong core here as long as they don't get themselves caught in this choke, because Owner has flash and ult. You can access almost anybody.
Yeah, Ruler in a little bit of trouble here. Does have Featherstorm, but does not want to use it in the 1v1 against Doran.
Has flash and his ult's back up. Like, that was very scary.
Yeah. And now you've got Ruler having to go back home. Doran actually might be able to get a fair bit of work done towards this turret. As Ruler, of course, using his own skin. Very cute there. Didn't mention that earlier on, but of course got that one in 2017.
That should be Dragon in exchange here for T1, you have to think. His owner is clearing his jungle on his way over to that full control they have on the bottom side. TP is going to come through from Keen, who was holding the mid wave here, but so many plates, like you said, go over, and they get the Dragon. Denying the grubs for the Jax is a big win, and also if Keen gets some time to hit turrets, which he should later on, this is going to be a big win for Gen G, but in the immediate game state, definitely feels like a trade up for T1 and take a small 500 gold lead here at 9.5 minutes, plus the Dragon.
Yep, not too bad at all. Seismic Shove going to connect onto Chovy once again as well. Hasn't pressed his R button or anything like that, but is a little bit frustrated about taking a bit of extra connect onto Faker here, but he's thrown a whole lot of rocks around. Actually flashes to get out of the way of this Grand Starfall from Canyon, and they look for the dive. There's the flash stun, and they lock down the kill. Still, Canyon is going to be taken out, so a 1-for-1. Always good to appreciate. As Canyon is going to face check and isn't feeling fantastic about it. On the hunt is Gumayushi, his Ruler going to rotate over, but it's mainly just to watch this Pantheon die. And so Canyon's woes continuing here.
Oh, then they spot him and take him out again, as now Faker's looking for a Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, Ruler might need to ult here as the Seismic Shove is going to pick him up. Let's see whether the Pop Blossom is going to come on through. There it is. Duro going to have to flash out of the way, though. The rocks cool down,
plus
as well
flash.
as a flash for this Nico.
Even a heal. Keen is going to try to get some value here in the side lane with 3 grubs on this Gwen. Will be answered by a teleport. He got some damage done. He wasn't able to get the significant...
Going to be resetting in any fights coming on up as Double Dragon being considered here by T1. Got a little bit close to an Earth, Wind, and Fire. Thankfully, we do have an angle for it, as it's another Ocean Soul.
At the same time, we won't see Faker commit for this one, but the Herald dropped in mid with this wave here. It should just be a trade of turrets. Doran does lose his flash, but it's not really a trade up for Gen G, and the game state for them is not where they want it to be.
Oh dear.
And this is going to be a collapse for sure.
Yeah, there's a Rift Herald on her way down here as Faker is going to try and shove Keen. It doesn't quite work out here as the Rift Herald is just going to bypass. They pick up the turret, and now the Cyclone on top of the Gwen. No way for him to get out of that. So it's likely that he was heading somewhere down as he's looking to do the play one more time. This time without the Cyclone, but we'll see whether that actually matters as the Weaver's Wall comes down. Charm is going to miss, and Chovy has to eat so many rocks and has to flash as now the turnaround potentially coming in here as Keen looking for the angle, wanting revenge onto this Talia. As the needlework comes out, Chovy finds the charm as Gumayushi finds himself so far away from the rest of his team, but maybe that's part of the play as they go 2-for-1.
Ball from T1 as Canyon may be caught again. He's rooted.
Yeah. Let's see whether he can get himself out of this one as the Cyclone does come in there from Ona. Looks for the angle, but Canyon is able to flash his way to safety. Ruler now in an awkward position as Faker is teleported in, trying to get these feathers down.
With the timing of this reset from Doran, he may have to TP in. If we see Gen G look for the Otacon startup, Keen does a ton of damage, even just on one item here. The Gwen is just going to help rush this down, so T1 have to be quick on the rotation. I think Doran will have to TP in very quickly here. There it is to the top side.
Yep, Ona's going to be moving in. I mean, T1 have full information as to what's going on here, and Keen's already down to 50% health. Ruler trying to get some damage down. Gen G are going to be looking for the turn as Ona moves on over, and now Chovy looking for the angle. Pop Blossom connects, finds only one as Faker flashes his way out. Doran avoids all of the feathers so beautifully, and it's a Nico that goes down first. The Wukong steals away the Otacon. Of course Ona does. The man's playing like a beast today. Keen does manage to find the value, and now it's Ruler's turn to pop off as Canyon trying to run his way out. The Seismic Shove doesn't find the angle, but he still jumps onto a rock. rock as Doran's so scary. Finds the Empower, takes down the Pantheon, and it's CHOVY and Ruler left alive in the end. But the Otacon goes to T1.
The Otacon goes to T1. Canyon was on the left side of that fight, and it was a Gwen versus a Wukong there in the Otacon exchange.
Showing the value of Taliyah in these team fights.
This looks like what the Legend Group games all looked like for so much of rounds 3 to 5, where if you get a small lead, you just take over the game. Gold lead-wise, not that huge here, but when you look at the fights and how
for the moment as Doran gets charmed up, but there's the Cyclone into the backline goes Ona, but he's kind of alone and hasn't really used his ultimate for much. Does flash to get himself to safety, as in goes Doran now. He will go golden, but this is so disjointed, and Keen is going to get on top of Gumayusi. Goes golden himself by so much space, but where's the follow-up? Keen just runs and will get shoved back towards Faker and takes a huge rock. That is going to be the Dragon secured with the feather pullback, and now I think Doran may eventually die, although no, he doesn't. He has Leap Strike, so he's just fine. Keen is very, very frightening and can now play a whole lot more aggressively with that extra shield, with the extra lifesteal. But that is going to be a phenomenal shove. CHOVY has to go golden at the beginning of this fight as now Doran looking for the angle, tries to get the counter-strike, but they take down CHOVY. That's the biggest part of it. Faker gets into the backline. Duro just melting so incredibly quickly. Keen goes golden, but I don't think he's surviving for much longer, and Ona will finish off the Gwen. The entire top side are destroyed. Ruler and Duro not knowing what to do next as they destroy the team fight.
It's a smash win in the team fight for T1. The shoves from Faker, the Taliyah has just been out of control this game, and now just a lone bot duo trying to defend against this massive push from T1 to bring themselves to match point.
Let's see whether they can actually finish it here as Doran going in, flashes forward to get on top of Ruler, and of course the seismic shove there. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen, and T1 have match point now for the next 2 games at least. And they could be poised. It
starts to feel like we might have an upset on our hands here with T1 looking like they are the stronger team here.
Oh my God.
And the gold lead the entire game.
And the thing is, CHOVY picks Kassadin. It has been picked into TF in the past, and he is going to hover it here. Let's see whether it is going to be the decision made.
It suits the Kalista part of this draft.
Does give them some late game insurance.
But it basically means we're losing the early game in the mid lane, and the top side gets a little bit wonky.
There is not a lot of being able to skirmish against T1 in the early stages of the game. It is a very difficult one, as Cassiopeia going to give them a little bit more power earlier on.
I kind of like the Cassiopeia. It's all in on their draft identity of low-range brawly, but when you're looking at the draft here from T1, sure, the Varus has a lot of range, but you can just simply overwhelm him with all the frontline you have, even if you catch the Rek'Sai or a Silas with the Blitzcrank hook. You have all that low-range damage. You just delete that target so quickly, and then you just overwhelm the rest of T1. Because we were looking otherwise like the Kassadin, but it feels so risky in the early game. The Aurelion Soul I mentioned is really not going to give you a lot of team fighting power.
Get onto the Rift here for game number 4. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for what could be the final game of this series, T1 versus GENG. A trip to the Inspire Arena on the line, as well as avoiding the play-in's best of 5 against the LPL 4th seed.
They have to ban Victor because Faker's champion pool is so small, but okay, we're never going to talk about it because Doran's once again the target.
Yeah, Canyon going to look to see if he can throw a rock at him, as Doran is just traveling through all of these tunnels. At the same time, Keria looking a little worse for wear as T1 looking to take down the Keen Sante, and that is going to be first blood over to Ona, and he should be able to survive. In the meantime, trying to get back through yet another tunnel, and Doran is just making them look silly, getting so much of the health back as well as he tunnels underground. Another tunnel going to be used. Man, he's like a kid playing on an elevator as finally he gets slammed into the wall and taken down. But let's see whether he can survive this as the tunnel comes on through. Duro still looking for the hook and manages to get him yet again. But I just don't know whether it's quite going to be enough because he gets underneath the turret. Will the Ren stacks come through? And yes, they will. Duro survives. And it's
teams But for Gen.G, at least the Kalista has a kill now. That's where you really need to start getting online for this draft to work. The Cassiopeia can scale into a big damage threat later on, especially with this composition as, Chovy may get caught.
Yeah, Destiny does come in. Miasma is down. Good position there as well, as Faker is just going to get picked up and taken down, but it is a counter ult here from Ona. Still the Fate's call to keep Duro safe. The flash over from Chovy. There's that killer instinct we've been looking for, and it's 2 on the floor for T1. Gen.G looking for even more as the blast cone from Canyon picks up a rock, and Carrier finds himself in a very awkward spot. Ruler able to find it, and that is another hook landing here from Duro. Ruler just lets Carrier melt as that bailout does not work. A really great start here for Gen.G this time.
It looked initially like it's another confident Faker call. He's going to look for the gold card play. He's going to look for the catch, but they had so many tools to turn it around. Owner's counter ult was actually almost enough to save it.
Splash available, so it's a bit of a scary one. Is the hook going to connect? Duro! Oh man, this young player playing very well, but it's a great handshake here from Carrier, just not enough to deal with the Impale, and this Renata pick away is being punished.
Yeah, this is a 3-kill Kalista.
Yep, and it's also a 100% kill contribution Canyon.
Yeah.
He exists in this game!
I was going to mention it earlier, but Canyon
the beginnings of a big advantage if they can continue to snowball this one through. Of course, 13.5 minutes, only 1,500 gold as the Destiny comes on through here. Canyon in a lot of trouble as he flashes over the wall. The Impale going to be avoided as Keen looking to try and duel Doran here, but it's a lot of damage out from Guma to help the Rek'Sai pick up the kill. And the flash hook! And it's going to be both of these top laners going down. The bailout not quite going to work here as the Impale comes through at the same time. Gumayusi is on the warpath, but so is Chovy. Finds the overextended Varus, and now it's Ona throwing chains around, but they are not going to do anything. And the counter yet. As T1 looking for this Rift Herald, Gen.G with full information about that happening. See whether they can actually get in a position to contest. As Canyon gonna drive on in, gets himself over the wall. It will be a 50-50, but it's Ona that wins it. Duro still hunting, looking for a bit of a target. Hostile takeover comes in as Ona goes golden. Keen right in amongst it. The double knockup from Doran's fantastic. He's being bailed out as well as Keen somehow survives. There is no way that he should be allowed to do that, and down goes Ona. Once again, every team fight is just Gen.G all the way.
Yeah, and T1 feel priced into these. They feel like they're behind. They do not want to just give up every objective, especially when you consider this mid turret is so low already. And this is going to go over to Gen.G. They cannot find a hook angle here, though.
Yeah, the Destiny is going to come down. They're going to look for Canyon, or at least look to tell him to leave, as he gets a fair bit of rock value. The hook onto Faker! Duro finds another one! And the attempted bailouts, but it's just too expensive. He's not leaving the police station this time. Down goes another kill, and it's a double for Ruler, making 5-0-4 now.
And a moment ago back. And this is Gen.G grabbing another dragon here. It's Mountain Soul. Where do you go as T1? You have to come over to this Otacon where there's a Blitzcrank lurking somewhere, looking to kill whoever checks. That checker
and no one
Carrier.
can check.
Yeah, exactly. It's Carrier on Renata. He's like, I'm so scared. Duro's like, I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
Here you are.
There he is, special delivery, and he will get some extra time with the bailout, but not very much. Chains of Corruption come in. That is an attempted steal opportunity here, but just slammed against the wall. The Otacon getting amongst it at the same time, and that is going to be Otacon secured by Canyon. He gets a casual kill at the same time. Double over to Ruler, and now Faker finds the...
for T1 as Gen.G look to set up.
Oh my, another one! Duro is, okay, from now on, every single game, teams, they need to ban Blitzcrank. He hasn't even been prioritizing this champion. He's so good at it.
Like this was match point on the line, LCK finals on the line.
Well, Duro's going to get a flash as he wanders on over. Chovy going to get ganked by multiple people. Petrifying gazes all over the place. But Gumayusi gets the shutdown, and an important one at that. 1,100 gold.
Plus
they will trade their inhibitor turret for it.
Yeah, maybe some bounty gold picked up here, but this turret's so healthy. They have no wave. Canyon helps clear out the rest of that. So no inhibitor to go down, but the inhibitor turret does fall. T1 get the kill and the shutdown, but not that gold.
Can Canyon be damaged? Okay, maybe he can now as the Destiny coming in on top of everything. Gumayusi starting to get some shots over as Canyon just drives his way out. Gumayusi still hunting for it. He flashes into the enemy base, gets impaled. Now he's in turret range. Duro comes over and Canyon Yeah, he's a tank.
I get it.
I mean,
Guma knew the game was over. You gotta try something. I mean, you gotta try something.
That's called reading the room, ladies and gentlemen.
You can test which there wouldn't be. You have to fight through Ren stacks and Smite.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna. It's not a 50-50 in this case. So the Mountain Drake will be taken down, and Wolf. You know what? It's actually kind of crazy.
Boulder was kind of completely online, and then one hook had to be the miracle to save the game. Now it's just Duro hooking whoever he wants, and it doesn't matter. They won the early game. That Varus is not online, as we saw in the big.
Canyon almost okay, just finds the impale onto Gumayushi somehow, and obviously he's going to survive with over a third health. Yes, reading the room. I'm going to try and read the room as well.
I'm like, you and I wanted game 5, and we get our wish.
Yes. This is going to be the inner turret taken down here. Without Gumayushi, there is not a way to defend.
I mean, that was so weak. Canyon looks so weak, but this has been his best game we've seen in playoffs.
Yeah,
he's 19 out of 20.
Oh, God, another hook. And it even caught Jonas Strong by surprise as Doran just goes down. Ona now dancing around behind the Baron pit, but Keen, he's a bouncer. He's going to try and stop him. Ona might be able to get in, but it's not going to be the steal. It's somehow Cassiopeia that actually gets it as the hook finally won. I see it miss. Good
Hail Mary in the base, because you know you're 10,000 gold behind. We're going to game 5. And it's just like Gen.G are slash dancing on you as we go to Silver Scrapes. Momentum is completely Gen.G's now in this series. Did this with Red Side. The Callista pick worked a treat. I wanted to say I trusted them for the confidence in it, but I thought maybe we were just going to end here and Gen.G say no. Ruler 8-0-8 on his iconic Callista.
And for me, this whole game is just Duro. This guy on this Blitzcrank, just incredible. I think that Canyon has come back alive, Chovy's come back alive, but Duro is just a man possessed on this robot. Let's see whether he can find another hook as they do get the knockup onto Ruler. Take him down immediately. The Impale is only onto one. Chovy still there for the DPS, but T1 finding kill after kill as Chovy, the handshake is fantastic. Owner is going to get taken down, but they take out the Cassiopeia. Can Canyon be damaged? Is still a question that we're all asking, and Gumayushi, he might be able to answer it. He does have the bailout, and as it turns out, no, he cannot be damaged. Canyon is immortal. He finds more rocks, and now he's just going to get to work, trying to use this lawnmower to take down Faker, not the Nexus. All three of them weren't enough, and the Scorpion will bring us to Silver Scrapes.
Canyon's got a heart of steel at the end of this game. Gets the kill on Guma, the snipe just before.
That is the Canyon that we have wanted to see all playoffs and haven't really at all. Gumayushi did a lot of damage
to a Skarner that he could. All right, well, this is a draft.
Man, I'm impressed with what T1 has put together. I'm not like, when I see T1 with a Ziggs draft, it doesn't necessarily make me feel, oh yes, this is going to be fantastic, but you look at this just from a power and potential of the champion's way, man, it looks pretty impressive as Mel is being hovered.
I mean, this is a pretty strong scaling pick, and with all the squishy champions on the side of T1 and the front line you have, you can just pop people. But he'll play Vex!
All right, it's been a while. The Vex is going to be locked in here for Chovy. This is a champion that he's really enjoyed in the past.
Man, Gen.G love their all-in drafts in the second half of this series, don't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for those who don't know, because we haven't seen Vex in a long time, she has a fear in her kit, but the main way she's going to be played in a draft like this with the Nocturne and the Lucian is trying to blow up a single target with her ult and Canyon's ult. They should be able to find, if her ultimate hits, the target, then blow it up with the Lucian follow-up. They have the Ornn as well. But there's so many damage threats here on the side of T1.
Get out of the rift here, game number 5.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for the final game of this series. Inspire Arena or go home, and then you have to play in the play-ins against the LPL 4th seed. Both of these teams will be at Worlds, but one of them may only be there.
Towards him as Doran is caught.
This is not where he really wanted to go for the honey fruit, and Chovy is right in position. Doesn't quite find the Q, and does find the ulti to pick up the kill there. Chovy might actually be able to find another one, and then does hit it.
Yeah, stop that brittle proc.
Yeah.
Canyon's going to get this dragon, but it's going to be in exchange here, 1-for-1 with the grubs. There's a Chemtech dragon, so pretty high value to grab this one early. Means that chances are the soul will be more impactful. Again, could still be like an ocean. We'll find out momentarily whether we'll know what that second dragon is.
Triple grub
Triple
Ziggs,
grub for Ziggs, plus, you know, the side lane fighting a lot. It's going to be a lot of tension, and it starts now.
Paranoia comes down. The Nature's Grasp does come on through, but it is so much damage onto the Lilia, and she just gets obliterated. Carrier now finding himself in an awkward spot as Chovy flashes over to pick up the feats of warfare. And even there's trains coming into the top side of the map. Doran to try and boop Keen away. Keen just trying to have fun like the rest of his friends.
Straight through it, do exactly that. Now, on the reset, by the way, Guma and Carrier, with those 3 grubs, are going to get the whole turret!
Okay, there is just first turret. This is what Ziggs is supposed. They want Ruler to be able to actually fight in close range.
This is my favorite type of draft disparity, is we're going to see another attempt to get Keen here, just thwarted by rotation up. He's going to try to turn this around.
Yep, looking for the train. They will be able to knock up Doran, but the Nature is grasping. Knocked back. Great satchel there from Gumayushi, but the quickness is so good as well. Chovy over to the top, and it is going to be the Drake being taken by Canyon, and somehow all of Gen G does survive.
You have one team that's trying to outrange and poke, the other team that goes all in. It's 2 completely different identities with very different win cons. One playing defense, the other is just constantly on the attack. And Gen G, if they're going to not let this Herald go over, they are going to have to be on set attack right now.
Yeah, they don't have the quickness though. Duro missing that ability to engage, and it does look like T1 should be able to grab this, and there it goes. Their second objective is going to be locked down. T1 with first turret, and Gen G with feats of warfare, and so they can actually get done here as he does bring back the soul, but there's the paranoia. The fear comes on through. Mega Inferno Bomb to try and offer some damage back, but it's not going to be enough. Faker went all the way to find him as well. I think he was trying to snap back just after the Nocturne gets there, so he doesn't actually have to worry about it, but unfortunately didn't quite work out, and even then I don't know whether it would have been enough. Does mean that Canyon doesn't have to invest his flash into the play. As Chovy looks for a bit of an angle there. Redemption for some support onto Doran, and that is going to be out of turret picked up. The Ziggs just doing precisely. So, I mean, if you're ever going to put all your eggs in a basket, probably go with that one.
If it says Chovy on it, it's a pretty good basket.
Yeah, good basket, that one. As Nature's Grasp coming on in here, it's a big commitment. Mega Inferno Bomb onto said Chovy, but he isn't going to get taken down just yet. Now the paranoia, now the re-engage, and Doran is just dead. Still these health bars from Gen G are so low. Canyon having to get himself out of there, and Owner just spins on top of this Rakan. Canyon somehow lives for so incredibly long. Gumayushi is so healthy as well. Somehow. But not too much more is going to come of this. The other one has been started.
And he's just going to buy an item before he goes in.
Yeah, Redemption coming on through. That is going to give them the information that this has been taken, as there are a lot of presents, but they're not being woken up as Chovy off to the side. Faker comes on in. There's the paranoia. They're looking to try and turn this. Chovy lands the ult, gets in there, and both of the carries just get destroyed as Lilia and Yone go down. Doran tries to get out, but now Carrier not going to be so lucky. Feats of strength come in as well for Gen G as they take the Otacon.
Otacon is a success for Gen G. Also, we'll grab Soul Point in this game. When we first saw the Chemtech Dragon, we're like, we don't know what Soul it's going to be. It's an Ornn, again, with Mountain Soul. Another Mountain Soul game here for Gen G.
Canyon moves over. Watch out, Eep there from Owner. Will do a fair bit of damage, but doesn't quite find the pirouette as Bowling Ball collected there by Canyon, who does take a little bit of a nap, but not hit by the sweet spot of that one. Redemption does come on down here as Paranoia coming on through yet again. Ruler finding the angles there, and Chovy connects so many ultis. There's the fear onto Faker. He's unable to actually make his way forward as Duro not going to finish off Doran, who is on his last legs in this fight. The ulti from Faker comes through, but it's onto Keen, and he's basically immortal on this Ornn. Owner still able to get some work done, though, as now he's spinning around this battle. Keen just headbutts Doran to get him out of there, and Canyon and Chovy, the last men standing on their side, whereas this Gumayushi
takes that away from them. How much poke can they land before Gen G start this dragon up is the real question. Keen?
Yeah, how good is his sleep going to be as well? There's a knock up and Carrier just dies! Mega Inferno Bomb also not able to do anything! As Gen G, they did push the Paranoia button, but now the Redemption comes down. They're basically full health, and the ulti connects onto Guma! He gets feared, and you can understand why he's scared, because this Gen G are on the warpath in this game! Faker gets over the wall, but Chovy is lurking, and he will be able able to finish off the Yone. The resets come on in. He finds the ult. He finds the Q. And there's the double kill for the Vex. GENG, they take the soul, and now they're looking for Baron.
They're looking for Baron. They have a 3,000 gold lead. That collapse onto Guma was maybe the winning moment here for GENG in this series. His owner looks for a trap here, tries to put those health bars low, tries to dissuade them from doing a Baron, but he's got no flash and no chance of stopping GENG from taking this one down. They give him no entry, no angle, and GENG might have just done it. It's only a 3,000 gold. They didn't necessarily want to show it today in this series, but they bring it out.
Ulti just barely missing on Aguma there, who does have a fair bit of wave clear, but unfortunately against Baroned up minions, the Ziggs loses a whole lot of that power. Minion as well. This is what happens when GENG are firing on all cylinders. As the train has left the station, there's the knock-up onto Carrier. This tree not lasting very long. The knock-up immediately afterwards onto Doran as well, as Keen manages to find that angle, and now Chovy is lurking, looking for the ulti. This time he connects it. The ult from Faker to try and pick him up though, but unfortunately these wallets be heavy, and down goes the Ziggs with no response.
They clear the wave, they buy themselves some time in this game, and they're certainly going to need it. 40 seconds on this Ziggs, 30 on the Jace, and the map is falling around them with this Baron buff wave coming through. It's just a matter of time before this base is cracked open. Looks like GENG might have their opportunity for revenge on KT, and potentially then revenge on Hanwha for the Summer Finals in 2024. One last opportunity to defend for T1.
Bit of a faceplant here from Keen, but we'll see whether they actually have the damage to take him down. I don't even think Nexus turrets are really doing anything to this on. First Nexus turret will be taken out as T1 clearing out the wave, and with everyone respawning and some lower health bars, it looks like GENG are trying to get themselves out of their Faker. Going forward though, looking for an angle. Bowling balls connecting as Ona doesn't quite have the lilting lullaby, and it's a flank TP angle from a Ziggs. Chovy is going to find him, but this health bar is so... Oh my god, he just died in an instant! He walked around a corner and just... Chovy went boo! And he's dead!
And that's the end of it!
Oh my god, Faker is now taking so much damage. The train drives on through there. They're getting the fears. Ona's going to be taken down, and the Nexus will follow. GENG will avoid the play-ins, and you will see the MSI defending champs at the Inspire Arena for a rematch against KT.
GENG has the opportunity now to defeat KT and revenge in that lower bracket finals, to then have the opportunity to do what they couldn't do in summer last year against Hanwha Life Esports. It's summer again, and GENG has a path to